Hello, this is Jim and Ben again here, and we're going to show you today how to display and to download the Aeronet data from the Appalachian site at Appalachian State University. We're going to deal primarily with aerosol optical depth, which is what most of you are probably interested in, and then in a separate video we will discuss the inversion products such as single scattering albedo and size distribution. Okay, so let's start off by just demonstrating how to display data. Okay, there's a number of ways you can do it. You can click on this map, but that can be a little tedious. So we're going to start by going down the left side here, and we're going to click Data Display. And we want aerosol optical depth. Okay, later on when we do inversions, you would click under the aerosol inversions to display data. So let's just click here, and we want to display aerosol optical depth. All right. So again, this map comes up, and it's filled largely with sites that no longer exist, and it's difficult to filter through. So let's just go down to the Appalachian State site here and click on it. And you come to the Aeronet page for Appalachian. So we look here, and there are several different variables we can select: aerosol optical depth, water vapor, angstrom exponent. We're going to select aerosol optical depth. The same procedure applies for selecting any of the others. Okay, so aerosol optical depth is displayed, and here is for the current month and for the last day in which data is available. And you see the plots right here. Now, if we would like a different day, we can click on any of the green days when data is available. And we see the data, for example, for January 28th. We'll show you how to download it in a minute. So we can select any day by clicking on a green day over in the calendar to the right. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You can also download, or you can visualize some of the MODIS products right here. So suppose we want to show an image from Terrace Moda of the sky. There's an image over Boone, so you can see the cloud cover, and you can see it along with the aerosol optical depth. There's other products over here, satellite data products and model products. We'll leave that for you to experiment with. Okay. Now, if you look on the page here, you see that there are two different levels of data, level 1.0, level 1.5. And just as with the SolRadNet data that we showed you in a previous video, you can choose to display either. So level 1.0 is the raw data. There's no quality assurance built into it. It may or may not be reasonable. The nice thing about that is it's available typically within a few hours of the measurement, so it gives you near real-time data. The level 1.5 data, if I click on that, will be cloud screened, and so if you get some spikes in here on the level 1.0 due to clouds, that they will often be removed in the cloud screening. And these are typically available within one day, sometimes less, in the order of hours. And so this is the way that we recommend that you view, is to view the 1.5 if you just need to see the latest day's data. You can also click here, if you would like daily average instead of all the points, and if you would like to see the error bars, that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's also click, suppose we would like to visualize data from a different time period. So I'm going to go back to 2014. Okay. And here you see a new level that's available, and that's level 2.0. Level 2.0, in addition to the cloud screening, also applies a post-field recalibration of the SIML after it's returned approximately annually to NASA. And this is the highest quality data. So if you're going to be using this for any scientific studies, we recommend that, if at all possible, you use level 2.0. Okay, so this is the best data. Okay, so here I click on level 2.0, But I see that not all months are available, only up until through September of 2013. And that is because our instrument was sent back to NASA for the post-field recalibration in September, and so there's no 2.0 data available since then. So this is the latest level 2.0 data available. But again, we recommend that you use this if at all possible. Okay, so that's data visualization. Okay, now suppose we want to do more than look at the plots. Suppose now we want to download the data and use it. So instead of the visual, or we go to the aerosol optical depth and we choose download tool. And we do the same thing as with visualization. We go to the Appalachian state link and we click on it. And here we get a different type of window, okay? And this asks us what products we would like to download, the level of the data, 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, and then some other information as far as the total optical depth with components and some other coarse and fine mode retrievals. And we'll leave that to you to experiment, and we'll deal with the most common usage, and that's just downloading the aerosol optical depth. And let's download level 2.0. This instrument information, we'll leave that blank. You can get the exact wavelengths and other information. We also often will not need the components of the aerosol optical depth. These are often estimated or used from satellite proxies, so we're going to ignore that too. And we're just going to select level 2.0 aerosol optical depth, precipitable water, and angstrom exponent. All right, so now we need to know what period we would like to download from. And unfortunately, there is no calendar on this page where we can determine what days or what periods are available, so you will have to go back to the display page that we just looked at and select the period. If you over-select, for instance, we didn't have any measurements until the summer of 2010, it will just return the period that's available. So it's fine to to put more than the period than we have. And we also only go up until the 31st of December of 2015, which of course we only have data through September. So let's just leave this and select download. And you'll have to wait for a minute here. Okay, you get another link here. And all of this, there's a terms of agreement, basically just stating that you will acknowledge the investigators if the data is used for study. You don't have a choice here. If you don't accept, you don't get the data. So we accept. Oh, shit. Okay. Go back, some mistake there. We accept. Oh, and then we download. Okay. And we get a zip file. If you keep it in the zip folder, you will not be able to open it with Excel, so let's just drag it over to the desktop. Cancel, it's already there. We can get rid of all of this. And now we can go into Excel. And we'll drag it over to here, and we go File, Open. We'll go to the desktop, and we'll go All Files because it's not an Excel file. There we go. We look for the file, and we see it. Okay, now a little bit tricky here, so pay attention. This is a comma delimited file. If we don't remember that, we can just go down here and see that there are commas separating each of the fields. So it's a delimited file, it's comma. So we'll just leave it at delimited. We'll go here, get rid of the tab, and we will select comma. Okay. Now we treat the consecutive delimiters as one with no text qualifier. Hit next. If you look at the first column here, it wants to know what the date format is. Okay, well, it's given in day, month, year. So the 27th day of the 9th month of 2014. So we go to the date, and we select day, month, year, and we are finished. Okay, and if you open it up here, we expand this so we can see the date, you see that the first day available of level 2.0 is the 30th of July of 2010. Even though we requested beginning January 1st, that's because there was no data available. So there's nothing wrong with over-selecting the period. You'll just get back what we have. And if you go down to the end here, you will see that data is only available from up till the 27th of September of 2014, despite the fact that we requested a greater period in time. So you will get back the entire period that we have if you over-select. Okay, and the columns, pretty self-explanatory. These are the aerosol optical depth, often called aerosol optical thickness. That's why you see AOT. These are the wavelengths. So for example, this is aerosol optical thickness or optical depth at 870 nanometers, 675. You see a bunch of NAs. That's because our SIML does not, like most SIMLs, does not have these wavelengths. So you'll get a bunch of columns of NA. Back to 500 nanometers, we have aerosol optical depth at that wavelength. And so you see that that column is filled. You go over here, precipitable water vapor, and then a bunch of variables that describe the data acquisition itself, dealing with the triplet measurements, angstrom exponent over here, that's related to the size of the particles, and then more data dealing with a solar angle. So most of you will primarily just deal with the aerosol optical depth columns over here on the left, and if you do have a need for some other variables, they are available on the right and are also on our website explained through a link. So that is displaying and downloading aerosol optical depth data from Aeronet. Until next time, Ben and Jim saying, have a good day.